Well, ultimately, that this the world-class program funding, it allows us to provide that underpinning, provides us with the basis. It lets us do I suppose the key areas and make sure that we can run our basic program. But to really run the program that we want to run, that increases the chances of success, that increases the number of opportunities, the quality of opportunities for athletes, and therefore we believe increases our likelihood of sustained success. We do need to have some additional sponsorship income, and we're then able to use that income particularly to support more higher quality, more technical support, particularly in terms of bringing in perhaps some coaches that have got specific skills that we can bring in more often, perhaps supporting some additional sailing events or training opportunities for our sailors, and to develop some of the technical aspects of the sport, which ultimately in financial terms is an endless source of spend, because there's always more that you would want to do if you could afford to do it, in terms of developing the sails, developing the boat, and developing the skills and techniques and facilities that we use in the learning process to actually try and fast track the learning to make our sailors as good as they can be, as quickly as they be, so that they can have the opportunity to gain winning experience. Yeah, I think that the goal for UK sport is to try and be the first host nation that can meet or exceed its home games medal tally, and that's a pretty tall order for sure. Sailing's been very successful over the years, particularly since the introduction of lottery funding in '97. We won 5 Olympic medals from 11 opportunities in 2000, another 5 in Athens, 6 in Beijing, of which 4 were gold, and another 5 from the 10 opportunities we had in London. So we're already winning about 50% of the medals. But to try and ensure that you can maintain that winning structure, you do need to be able to support the athletes and support the learning experiences, support those technologies, and be able to compete on the very highest level with all our international competitors. And there's no doubt in my mind that the amounts of money that countries around the world are finding to invest in elite sport continues to rise, and that continues to develop the opportunities, and it makes, of course, increases the level of competition, makes the difference between first and second, or particularly between third and fourth, that much smaller. The margins are smaller, and so therefore you're looking for each one of those very small differences, those really marginal gains that are going to make the difference between winning a medal or missing out. Skandia and Accenture in particular have used the sponsorship in a number of ways to meet their business objectives. I mean, the first one, which is probably the most obvious one for most people, is in terms of brand awareness. Sailing boats clearly have big sails, they are movable billboards, and so there's a great opportunity for branding there, and that was particularly key for Skandia. But in both Skandia and Accenture's case, it was an opportunity for them to try and engage with potential clients. First off, in terms of a hospitality aspect for Accenture, to allow them an opportunity to enter into a dialogue. Within business-to-business relations, plenty of corporate hospitality opportunities, and there are plenty of invites to go and play golf at Wentworth or go and watch a tennis match perhaps, but there's far less opportunity to actually take part in an activity, and even fewer where you can take part in that activity with athletes to the very highest level. And so in Accenture and Skandia's case, having events where they were able to ask their clients if they wanted to come along and take part in a sailing event with sailors who were part of the team racing against each other, allowed them to provide an opportunity that was interesting to the potential client, and therefore allow them to engage in dialogue. And also then that then gave them an opportunity to start to explain their services to their clients, both at that experience and indeed through showcasing particular projects. So in areas of work where the sponsor would support our activity in terms of value in kind work, that they would then use that as a showcase opportunity. So if it was performance management, for example, with Accenture, we built a performance management tool that we use on a day-to-day basis, and that is a service that they sell into business on a regular basis. But rather than going into a business and talking about the performance management tool for banking or shopping services, they're going in talking about sport, which is something that's a little bit different. It perhaps gives them an opportunity to grab the imagination of the potential client and take them on a slightly different journey to sell and explain their services. I think there's a number of different opportunities, as we've spoken about with regards to previous sponsors. There's certainly a great opportunity for brand awareness. There's an opportunity for association and development, particularly for companies that are looking into the emerging markets and that particularly in South America. The Olympics has clearly grown in the hearts of the British public, and the 2012 Olympics provided a great opportunity to show the potential for business return for those corporates who were interested in supporting British sport. And there's a huge appetite for Britain to continue and do well in 2016. I think that because we have a far more educated public now than we did, say, 4 years ago as a result of the 2012 games, then I think there's a great opportunity for companies that are supporting and sponsoring British Olympic sport to really see a greater level of customer and client engagement and a better educated audience that ultimately allow them a better opportunity to sell their services or products.